welcome to a new video. We are on our way to Bali in this episode, and we are currently in the airport for our flight. I don't know if you can see, it's the top one at 8:05. It's currently 5:15 and the airport is shut. There is not a soul in here at all. In the EU and the UK, you're always told, get to the airport early, 3 hours just to be safe, because we've got baggage to check into the airport. We're 3 hours early and there isn't a single person here. So we probably got to wait about an hour before people start arriving before we can check in our baggage. I would imagine the reason why the airport is so quiet, it's not a big one, even though it is for the capital of Laos, is after our flight at 8 AM, the next one is 9:45. So clearly they don't do a lot of flights out of this country. I mean, that is probably the reason why these flights for us have been quite expensive. We've been talking in the last episode about how pricey flights are in and out of the country, hence why we took a 2-day slow boat to get into the country, and I think them boards justify the reasons why. If Air Asia, the Ryanair of Asia or Southeast Asia, are only putting on 2 flights to Bangkok Don Muang airport all day out of this airport, and there is 10 flights on the entire itinerary between now and 2 PM, I think that sums up the reason why it is so pricey to get in and out of the country. We have finally made it to Bali. We've got a total of 3 weeks in Indonesia, but more of that to come in future videos. This one is just all about how much we can see and do in Bali. Yeah, initial thoughts, it's incredibly busy and just stuff happening everywhere. There's someone angle grinding over there. We're getting beats every 30 seconds for a grab bike. It feels a little bit like Phuket, some of the busy areas down in the south of Thailand, where it's not just taxis hollering you and massage parlours, it's also people in restaurants as well, which you tend to get a lot in Europe when you go travel abroad, but it's constant. We've literally not had 2 seconds since we've come down this street. So we've just made it to the beach in Seminyak, and it's just a vast space in both directions. I think it's about 2 to 3 miles of beach. It's very pretty. I think it'll look really nice when the sun sets. It feels like it's just going to drop into the ocean, but thank God we're at the beach, because the level of harassment going down that street from everyone, to the point where it's just a bit too much. I know they're trying to earn a living, but it's just constant. I mean, we didn't have time to even speak to one another, because all we're saying is no thank you the whole way down. So yeah, that's a little frustrating. I think it's, especially when you come from a country like Laos, where there was literally no haggling, no jumping on you at all when you walk down the street, and it was so much quieter. It's definitely a shock to the system, probably more than anything. So we have come to La Plancha, a bar on the beach for the classic Bali sunset, and the clouds are starting to appear, so hopefully we'll get the sunset before it gets dark. And even better, it's only taken 6 weeks, but I finally got a decent Guinness. Reminds me of home.
Beautiful sunset. There's a lot of people here. Busy place.
So we haven't done a great deal today, just because there isn't actually that much to do in Seminyak. So we spent the day editing and catching up on a few bits. But we've now come back down to the beach. We've got our tinnies this time from the shop just to save a bit of money and watch the second sunset, which again is looking absolutely epic. So this is the second time we've been to this place. If you're ever in Seminyak, come to Pork Star. It is absolutely incredible. They do this wonderful truffle sauce and pork belly, and also these garlic and rosemary potatoes. They are amazing. Got to try this place out. So, first impressions of Canggu. It's definitely as busy as Seminyak in terms of traffic. But it feels like they've brought a little bit of that culture in terms of the spas, the bougie side of things, the cafes to Canggu. It feels like it sort of sits in the middle of both. But it's incredibly busy. There is non-stop traffic. I can barely hear myself think. The hotel we're staying at is in a really lovely setting away from the main street. It's nice and quiet. It's got a beautiful pool and grounds in the centre. We've got a lovely ground floor room with aircon. So looking forward to a couple of days in Canggu. Hopefully going to have a big night out, who knows. And we'll try and video whatever we get up to. Realistically, there isn't that much to do in Canggu. It's very much just your beach, your pools, relax in the daytime, party at night. But we're actually quite enjoying just spending our days chilling by the pool, catching up on the editing or journaling, looking at the places we're going to go to next in Indonesia. I think since we've started this trip, we've been pretty much non-stop. I think this is only the second hotel we've had with a pool where we can just relax during the daytime. So we're actually staying here for a total of 4 nights, just to wind down a little bit before we carry on with the rest of our adventure in Indonesia. Carly did make a great point. There is actually a massive surfing scene here. We went to the sunset the other night. A lot of them are going out to surf on the sunset. So if that's your thing, that's a really cool thing to do, but I'd be absolutely useless at it. So we are just sticking to floating in a pool. Look at the size of that almond croissant.
How is it?
That is incredible. So we've been to many rooms since we've been in Indonesia, and they're these small little restaurants that serve delicious Indonesian food. It's very much a traditional thing to do here. And we've come to this one called Inclusive Warung, and they actually employ 20% of their staff who are actually deaf. And the lovely waitress just gave us a free sign language
the Indonesian
lesson.
alphabet, and then we had the bill, the menu. It was really good.
How do you say thank
Can
you?
you remember? Thank you.
Go. I think that's a brilliant initiative, something we've not seen at all. If you come to Canggu, come to the Inclusive Warung, because honestly, what they're doing here is brilliant. Absolutely everyone raves about Canggu across all social media platforms, but we've been here 4 days. We've walked around town, we've been to the beach, we've seen sunsets, we've been to restaurants, we've had the chill days by the pool, but we're not seeing the same Canggu. The food here is absolutely incredible. It's pricey for us on a budget, but it is incredible. Some of it's been absolutely delicious. The coffee shops have been amazing, but I don't see the Canggu that you would come to and be blown away by compared to some of the stuff we've seen already. Apart from the beach, there's no real sights, there's no real excursions. So what is it about Canggu that we're not seeing? Every single one of the influencers mentions how long they've stayed in Canggu, the cafes off the beaten track, some of the things to do that a lot of the tourists don't know about. So 4 days travelling through Canggu when we're trying to do as much as we can with our 30-day visa in Indonesia just simply isn't enough time. They talk about all the recommendations for the sunset places to go, some of the unheard of beach clubs. We just can't see all of that stuff in 4 days. When we scratch the surface on other places we've been to, we've managed to see so much so quickly. Here it feels like you need to live here and immerse yourself in the culture to really understand what Canggu Bali's like. So I guess that's where we've got to in the end. We can't see it all, but we can only do our best.